everybody. Welcome to the Library Peer Network. Got another interview with a group society from around the university. This week, we're speaking to the president and vice president of the upReach Social Mobility Society. We're joined by Rahima and by Ella. So first of all, how are you both? What do you study? What year are you in? That kind of thing.
I'll go first. So my name is Rahima. I'm doing quite well today. It's a Friday, isn't it? I guess. So I'm the president of the upReach Social Mobility Society, and I'm in my second year of law at the University of Manchester.
I'm Ella, and I'm a second year law and politics student at the University of Manchester, and I'm vice president of the upReach Social Mobility Society. And yeah, I'm good. It's nice weather today, very sunny.
Yeah, it's not very sunny down here. I'm in Nottingham right now.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Looks pretty dry. Okay, two lawyers. Wow. Okay, very smart people. How has that been? Has that been intense? I feel like law is quite an intense subject to study.
Yeah, I agree. I think second year has been more challenging than first year. Just because like the content is just so rigorous. I feel like there's so much more analysis and detail that's required in second year that you don't need in first year. So I've had to sort of learn that, and then also balancing all my extracurriculars and other commitments. So, I work, I also do a lot of extracurriculars like volunteering and stuff, and just trying to balance all my hours with university and like ensuring that I don't fall back with my lectures can be a struggle sometimes, but I guess that's why we have to-do lists. So yeah.
Yeah, second year has definitely been a lot more intense, especially with I found online learning quite difficult. But yeah, just like cramming everything in, it's been quite a lot.
Yeah. I was the same, to be honest. Doing my masters last year, like before COVID, I was like fine, like on top of everything, like everything was going well. And then as soon as lockdown, I was like, my work rate just fell off a cliff, and I was like struggling so much. But it all worked out in the end. Okay, so well, clearly you're both very busy, have very intense study and outside of extracurricular lives. So part of that is being president and vice president of the upReach Social Mobility Society. So how did you both get into that? How did it start? And like, what do you do for your roles as president and vice president?
Okay, so I'll start. So I found out about this organization called upReach in my first year of university, and that it essentially aimed to help students from disadvantaged and underrepresented backgrounds gain top graduate jobs. So I thought this, is applicable to me. So I applied for their program and I became an associate in that year. So I spent a year being an upReach associate, and in this role you get like a program coordinator who acts like a mentor. So they provide guidance on applications, just general advice, and that you also have like an online website where you can log on and you can like sort of flag applications, and you can tell them you've uploaded your CV and they'll review it for you. So just essentially they just help you with your career pathway, and they're just there to boost you and encourage you. So my program coordinator at the time was Alex, and Alex isn't my program coordinator anymore, but at the time she was amazing. She was the one that really pushed me further, and she just really made me realize like my potential, because one thing she pushed for me was like my self-awareness. She said that that was like one major strength of mine. So I guess having Alex there as like a mentor and someone to encourage and push me, she said that they were creating a new social mobility society at the different campuses where upReach is collaborated with. So at Manchester, I saw the applications, being sent out, and I just thought, on a whim, I might apply and see if I get it or not. I wasn't fully sure because I know president is quite a big role, but with Alex's help, I think I just went for it. So I applied, and then eventually I got the email from Mabel saying, "Congratulations, you've become like president of the upReach Social Media Society." And I guess I was so shocked in that moment because I didn't actually expect to get it. I think I was like, oh, I'll apply, but when I actually got it, I was just, still in shock. And I remember running to my mum and telling her, I was just like, look, I got president. And she was just like, what does that mean? And I was like, I got president. And then I explained to her what the role was. And she was just like, that's amazing. That's really good. And in my role of president, it's mostly just working with Ella to basically delegate tasks to my other committee members, and just as an overall like leader in the society, you help with events, you help with marketing, you help with outreach events too. So just basically doing all the roles all together, but also giving out tasks too.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Ella? What made you think that the upReach Society was like something that you wanted to get involved with?
So I kind of joined later on. I'd noticed that the University of Manchester didn't have any social mobility societies. So I wanted to create one myself. So I posted on like various social media sites. So like on Facebook and like student group chats and stuff like that, saying that I wanted to create one and if people were interested in like forming a committee with me. And then somebody reached out and said that there was one already being created. And then eventually that led me into getting into contact with Rahima. And then she offered me vice president. And then I had an interview with her and some other committee members. And then, yeah, got it, which I was very happy about because that was a lot easier than creating my own society. But yeah, I didn't actually know about upReach beforehand. I'd had like a lot of support from Inter-University and other things like that to get into uni. But I'm looking forward to being like benefiting from their program once I'm on the program and this space. But as vice president, it's kind of just like a similar role to Rahima, but less intense. So just kind of like talking through all the decisions, coming up with event ideas, and just making sure like everything's smooth running and looking professional, etc.
So was this last year that you applied and then started working this year?
Yeah, so in the summer, I put like all the posts on social media and then basically became vice president in the summer, and then we started in September.
That's like such a sick thing to do as like first year students for both of you, to like get involved with something like that straight away. Was that ever something that you thought twice about in terms of like wanting to focus on like uni more, or being confident enough to like get involved with stuff like this?
Yeah, you go, Rahima.
No, it's fine, you can go.
I'm not sure. I think for me, uni, when I first joined, I just didn't really feel like a student at the University of Manchester. So like creating a community was something that was like, important to me, and kind of being able to meet people from like similar backgrounds. But yeah, what about you, Rahima?
I think for me, I won't lie, I did think about my commitments and my hours, because I spoke to Alex about this, and I think that was my only sort of put off from applying for the role. However, Alex was saying that, there's, from her words, she was saying there's no better person to become president of this society, so you really should apply. So I think at the end of first year, I think I did like an Excel spreadsheet of like all my commitments and extracurriculars, just to sort of like tally out what I had going on in second year, and what was most important, in terms of uni modules and my work at the museum. So I was able to sort of just realize how many hours I could put into the society, and then realizing now, like, in retrospect, after working on the society for a whole year, like, I'm so glad I made that decision. Like, it was all worth it, because seeing the engagement, seeing the community building that we've created on campus has been really amazing. I didn't expect, to Manchester start off like this, but it's been like really great here. And it's great to see that so many society members feel like they have a specific space for them, like a safe space just to talk about their experiences and how navigating themselves in society and in, like, their career pathways may be more difficult than other people. And I guess we just encourage them to realize their potential, and just, to apply for those internships, apply for those graduate roles that they thought maybe they couldn't do before.
Yeah, okay. That's something that's great to hear, because that's something that's really close to like the values of the library peer network as well. We're like made up of entirely first year students from widening participation backgrounds. Um, so like hearing both of you talk about like the community and like that, like needing spaces for those students to have a community is really important. How was your first year at the Uni of Manchester? So going back to your first year at the Uni of Manchester, what was that like before you joined the upReach society, and kind of how did that inform your decision a bit, like a bit more? Was it a bit of a culture shock getting to the Uni of Manchester?
I think for me, my first like sort of aim to come to university was to just first make friends. I think most people just want to make friends because we want to make sure we've got good connections and good friendships. And I think when I came across such a large amount of people, that's when I was able to understand that not everyone comes from the same background as you. And like just small little things that you hear in conversation, or when you're at networking events, you don't realize that some people literally come from such sheltered backgrounds, and they don't come from the background that you're from. So me, I'm like state school educated, working class background, I've been a carer, and Muslim Asian. So it's just like you see that some people haven't seen the experiences that I've had. So of course they're going to have a different outlook on life. And just simple things from like, you know, questions about who gets the most maximum student loan, or, questions about if your parents send you money, or questions about who's working and who's not. I think having those conversations, I was able to see that, yes, there are people that are more privileged than myself. However, I've still been able to work really hard despite coming from the background that I do come from. And I've been able to put myself on the level playing field as them, and still like, push myself forward to pursue a career in law. And I guess in first year, I may have been a bit naive to think that everyone is like me, or that everyone sees the world that I do because of my experiences, and then realizing what type of friends I actually want to be friends with because of these conversations that were held. But I'm glad now that I've got really good friends in second year that are very understanding if you don't necessarily come from a privileged background.
Yeah, I found it quite difficult coming to uni, but it was kind of a similar thing of just realizing how I was quite shocked by how sheltered some people are. But obviously, there's a lot of different people at university, so it's just finding like the right people. But yeah, it's interesting to see that it's really not a level playing field at all, and kind of the importance of like having an awareness of like not everyone comes from the same background. Yeah, I found it quite eye-opening.
Yeah, for sure. So with that, you experienced that, and then started the upReach Society. What, like, what does it actually? What have you done so far, like, to help those students? What kind of events do you run? How specifically, if someone was to join, um, would they benefit from joining the upReach Social Mobility Society?
I mean, that's a fantastic question. I feel like this is time to promote society now. So basically, the three aims of our society are known as the ABCs. So A is for advocacy, B is for brand awareness, and C is for community development and engagement. So essentially, advocacy is about social mobility advocacy. We're very, very big on just pushing like social mobility at university. Therefore, we've got to have the voices to spread it out. With brand awareness, just sort of endorsing upReach as an organisation to students at the University of Manchester, and maybe just pushing the programmes more to disadvantaged students so that they can apply for these programmes and they can get the exact same help that I'm getting to. And then with community development and engagement, this is essentially just, creating a community on campus of students that are from the same backgrounds. Because like we said before, it's a safe space for like-minded individuals to find others who are like them too, so that they don't feel alienated and ostracized at university. And just an important point as well, I do want to say that this society is open to everyone. So if you want to be an ally and you're not necessarily from a disadvantaged background, still come and join us, because it's great to see that some people do still care about these types of issues, even if they don't come from that certain background. Ella, do you want to talk about the certain events that we've had on?
Yeah, so we've held various online events this year. So everything's been online because of COVID. But we've had panel discussions on social mobility, imposter syndrome events, and we've had quite a few recently network events collaborating with upReach societies from different universities across the UK. And yeah, it's a great way to meet people with similar experiences and ideals. Yeah, there's networking opportunities. It's quite a good way to learn more about social mobility and how it impacts people. Like, I had no idea what imposter syndrome was until I got to university. Yeah, and it promotes opportunities that will benefit you as well.
Yeah, that's something that we've spoken a lot about, imposter syndrome. Like pretty much all of our students can relate to that kind of feeling. Okay, what do you have in the future coming up? What is the future of the upReach Social Mobility Society?
So basically, I know there's still a bit of uncertainty, even though we're outside of lockdown now. So I think we're still going to go ahead with online events for now, and then potentially, in the future, maybe we could have in-person events. But what we actually have hoping to be planned for the next academic year is to collaborate with the Disabled Society at university and potentially the EDI collective too. Because I think one thing that I want to stress to students is that social mobility isn't just one factor in your life that affects you. It's not just one adversity. There are other factors such as, race or sex or if you're able-bodied. So it's just realizing that these all intertwine and the importance of intersectionality when we are talking about social mobility issues. That's why we've had previous events, collaborating with Urban Lawyers North or Future Women Lawyers. So that's really important too. And then also we are going to be recruiting a new committee for the next academic year. So I've, had an amazing time on the society as president, and, I'm mostly likely going to be reapplying and, carrying on my role, but I still wanted to advertise the roles anyways. So we have president, we have vice president, we've got treasurer, secretary, events coordinator, and marketing officer available. So if people do want to apply for these roles, all they need to do is go over to our Instagram, where there is a link in our bio and the application form is there. And essentially in these roles, what you'll be doing, is either organizing events or managing our social media, or you'll be doing like the logistics and like recording of minutes for events. And specifically, if you did go for a VP role, which is vice president, you would have more of a leadership role. So you need to show that you've got that strong voice and, you've got that sort of platform and, just confidence in yourself to be able to talk about these issues with conviction and realize that other students need to have you there to advocate for them on behalf of them and stress the importance of social mobility.
Yeah, that's so sick. How do you both think that you benefited from having a role on the committee?
Ella, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I've really enjoyed being vice president. It's been good. I'm quite proud of like how well we've done, considering we started a new society when everything's online. So there's a lot less engagement with societies this year, but we've like raised a number of members, and we've held like quite a lot of online events considering. And yeah, it's been really nice getting to know everyone on committee, and like working with Rahima has been amazing. She's very good at being president. So yeah, I'm looking forward to her hopefully carrying on as president next year, and just returning as a member myself, and hopefully having some in-person events, which would be good.
Yeah, I think in my role, I've absolutely loved it. I think when you're first starting off, it can be a little bit stressful because it's a new society, um, especially as, we didn't receive any funding for it. It was all just student led. So there was just, the issues of just trying to organize events online, having never done that before. But then, first being able to get that first social mobility panel discussion that we had hosted, it was just great to see that, you know, we can facilitate online events and we can create this engagement, we can create this community. So as soon as we had that first event, I think it really pushed me and showed me that we could have more events. And, you know, by the end of first year, or up to now, let's say, we've done, you know, 6 events, we've gained over 60 members, we've collaborated with 5 other societies. And I think that really shows that if you really put in the effort and, you know, really try your best to try and collaborate with the societies, get the word out, you know, push the narrative that this society is for everyone, I guess people will want to get involved and will want to be part of the committee or the society. And I think that's been the best part of it, you know, seeing so many students get involved. It's not even like me and myself and my role, it's just seeing so many students say to me, "Oh, Rahima, this has been such a great society to create," or "I wish, you know, with this, I'd had this in my university experience." And just getting some really good feedback from people, like from mentors and from students, telling me the society has been like a really great initiative. And I'm just glad that they find that it's been good.
Yeah, yeah, that's super inspirational, really. And like from my perspective as well, like going to uni in London, I say this all the time, but like with my entire undergrad, like I never really felt like I belonged at the uni, and kind of never got involved with anything like this, or like had the confidence to get involved with anything like this. So like to see like you two as first year, second year students, like getting involved, starting being president and stuff like that, and like making uni life easier for other students as well in the same circumstances, like super inspirational, super sick that you're both doing this. Um, okay. Where do people go to follow the society, to find out about the events, to sign up, to apply for the committee roles?
Yes, so if you go over to our Instagram, which is at upReach sock mob. So if you go over to our Instagram, there in our bio, you will see the application form to apply for the new committee. We also have like links to opportunities in there too. So we closely work with the career service, and through Career Connect, you'll see lots of opportunities out there available for students from our type of backgrounds. And then also like you'll see our posts and you'll see our engagement, which will just highlight what events are coming up, potential collaborations too, and also just, you know, wider sort of knowledge on social mobility issues. We have a specific newsletter which also, you know, you can sign up to, and this will send you emails about social mobility issues for that month. So I think that's a great way to, you know, to keep in the know and, you know, engaged about social mobility issues if you want to get involved.
Okay. And my final question to both of you, like I said, we're a bunch of first year students. We have about 150 students now, all from widening participation backgrounds. So like a lot of like Manchester Access Programme students, distance access scheme students. What would your advice be, if you had one piece of advice for first year students, for our first year students, based on your own experiences at UD Manchester, what would that be?
Mine would be don't drop out. And like if you're feeling alienated, like get involved with societies, get involved with committee roles. Like it's a really good way to feel more part of the university. And yeah.
My major tip would be networking. Networking is so important. I don't even care where you're from. Networking can get you big places or far places. I think networking for me showed that I clearly have a gift with speaking. So I enjoy public speaking and advocacy. And I was able to utilize this for my own benefit. So, you know, that doesn't mean just networking with anyone. I'm talking about getting involved with societies, going to events, speaking to students, speaking to professionals in the career pathway you want to go into, and being able to network with them and really sell yourself as a person, you know, really get to know who you are, who is your personal brand, and sell these to employers. And if they really see like the potential inside of you, they will pick you out and they will offer you specific work experience placements, or they'll want to stay in contact as a mentor. Like a specific experience that I had in first year was that I networked at an event once, And, I just went around speaking to people, didn't know anyone there. And then I spoke to a barrister who, had told me that I'd, engaged really well in one of the workshops, and I thanked him. And then eventually went, would you like to do work experience with me? And I think seeing that in like the flesh and just happening to me, never thinking that it would do, I think that just showed, like, if you really just, put yourself out there, make yourself known, give that first really good impression, people will see it and people will reward you. And I think that shows, like, the beauty of networking. I was able to gain work experience in my first year, and I just really encourage all of the students to try, to network more, gain more connections and personal relationships, because it will really help you in your career pathway.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Wow, I'm very inspired now. I want to like restart my uni life and just do all of that again, and I feel like I would be doing much better. So definitely encourage all of our students to do the same. Yeah, thank you both, Rahima and Ella, coming on to speak a little bit about upReach Social Mobility Society. Yeah, thank you guys.